And welcome to another video from Teaching by SM. I just like to highlight that proceeds from these videos are donated to the Palestinian cause, and today we are going to be solving June attempt from 2023 paper references for MA1/2 HR. So without further ado, let's get into the exam. So starting off with question 1, P equals to m square minus 4c. Work out the value of P when m is equals to minus 5 and c is equals to 3. So P is equals to minus 5 square minus 4 times 3. P is equals to 25 minus 12. So P is equals to 25 minus 12 is 13. So 13 is your final answer. Now on to part B, expand and simplify this bracket. So x plus 5, x minus 7, x and x make x square, and we have plus 5x, and then we got minus 7x, and then we have minus 35. We got x square minus 2x minus 35. That's your final answer. Moving on. So question 2, Sandeep wants to buy some packets of pens and some boxes of pencils for his stationery shop. Each packet of pens contains 9 pens. Each box of pencils contains 12 pencils. Each packet of pens cost 7.6 pounds and each box of pencils cost 4.8 pounds. Sandeep can only buy full packets of pens and full boxes of pencils. He wants to buy exactly the same number of pens as pencils. So we have pens and we have pencils, and he can only buy the pens in sets of 9 because he can only buy full packets, and he can only buy a pencil in sets of 12 because he can only buy full boxes. So first, this is like box number 1 and so on and so forth. And for second he will have 18 and 24. 3 he will have 36 and 27. 4 he will have 36. So here we can see that he now has equal number of pens and pencils if he buy 4 packets and 3 boxes, and the cost of one packet is 7.6 and the cost of one box is 4.8. So solving it, we get 44.8 as our final answer. Write it in the answer space and you score full marks. Question 3, Anjali travels on the Eurostar train from Paris to Amsterdam. The distance the train travel between Paris and Amsterdam is 515 kilometers. The time taken by the train to travel between Paris and Amsterdam is 3 hours and 18 minutes. Work out the average speed of the train. Give your answer correct to the nearest kilometers per hour to the nearest whole number. So we need to give the answer in kilometers per hour. We have kilometers, but we do not have a right unit for hours. So if the hours are 3 whole 18 over 60, we need to convert it into an improper fraction. So 3 into 60 is 180. 180 plus 18 is 198 over 60, and this simplifies to 33 over 10. Then now we have hours, which is 3.3, and we have kilometers, which is 515. The average speed is 515 kilometers over 3.3 hours. 515 divided by 3.3, the answer is 156.06. Give your answer to the nearest whole number. So 156 is the answer. Let's write it in the answer space. Moving on, we have question 4. The first four terms of an arithmetic sequence: 38, 31, 24, and 17. And by looking at it instantly, I can tell that the difference is -7. It's common. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. So the formula for the nth term of a sequence is this. Now we have a, which is the first term, 38, plus n minus 1 times the difference, which is -7. So we have 38 minus 7n plus 7. We have 45 minus 7n. So the final answer is 45 minus 7n. Moving on. Question 5. A field is in the shape of a trapezium. As we can see, the field is sold for a price 49,650. Given that 1 hectare equals to 10,000 meters square, work out the average price of the field per hectare. So first we need to find out the area of this field, and the area of a trapezium is by the formula half sum of parallel sides. These sides are parallel to each other, as you can see. So we take their sums times the height, which is 240, and this gives us 60,000 meter square. Now we have the area in 60,000 meter square, and this would be, this divided by 10,000 would give us 6 hectares, because each hectare is of 10,000 meter squares. So we have 6 hectares now, and the total cost is 49,650 divided by 6 is 8275 hectares. So cost per hectare is 8275 dollars per hectare. So let's just write it down here. So we have question 6. In his previous job, Pierre was paid 400 euros for working a 5-day week. In his new job, Pierre is paid 14 euros per hour. In his new job, Pierre works 7 hours each day for 5 days a week. So work out the percentage increase in the amount that Pierre is paid for a 5-day week. So first he used to work for 400 euros. Now we need to find out how much he does get paid per week. So if he works 14 hours for 7 days, for 7 hours, he gets paid 14 euros for working 7 hours for 5 days. We get 490 euros. We get 490 euros. Now his new pay is 490 and his old pay was 400, and this is how we calculate the percentage increase. So it's 490 minus 400 over 400 times 100 equals to 22.5%. So this is your final answer. The question space already had, the answer space already had percentage sign, so you just gotta write 22.5. The second part asks us, Marie changes her job, her salary decreases by 6%, her new salary is 23030 euros. Work out Marie's salary before she changes her job. So before, her salary was something, and after she switched jobs, it is now decreased by 6%, or I could say before minus before salaries 6% is now her new salary. Or another way of saying it is, before her salary was 100% and now there's a 6% decrease, so now it's the 94% of original, which is 23030. So solving either ways, we get that her old salary was 24,500 euros. This is how you score 7 marks for 2 parts. Moving on. Alright, 7a, simplify. Anything raised to the power 0 is 1. So your job is done here. And we have 3 times minus 14 into 3 times 8 equals to m. So let's just bring it in normal form, or we don't have to actually, because the bases are same and these two are getting multiplied, so the powers add up. So minus 14 plus 8 equals to m, and minus 14 plus a is minus 6. M is equals to minus 6. Moving on. 8a asks us to solve this inequality, so it would be 9 minus 17, 4x minus 8, 4x, x would be less than minus 2, this cancels. So yeah, so we have a graph which with a shaded region. Part B says write down the 3 inequalities that represent the shaded region. So note that x is equals to 6 and the shaded region is behind that. So first inequality is very simple, x is less than or equal to 6. Then we have y is equals to 2, and we can see that shaded area is above it, so y is greater than or equal to 2 is our second inequality. Then we have this line, and notice that this is very simple, this is a y equals to x line, and since every point is 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4, that's how I know that this is a y equals to x line, that every x value is equal to its y value. So the shaded region is below it on the right side of it, so the inequality is y is less than or equal to x, and here you go, the question is solved. Moving on. So question 9, the diagram shows a rectangular sheet of metal ABCD. As you can see, BD is 50 centimeters and angle BDC is 32 degrees. Nasser joins side AD to side BC to form a cylinder. BC is the height and DC is the circumference of the cross section of the cylinder. So when the shape is formed, it would be something like this. Corners AB would join here and corners CD would join here. And so what I'm seeing is that this circumference would be equal to AB or DC, since they are equal lengths. So yeah, moving on. Work out the volume in centimeter cube of the cylinder. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So first of all, let's work out our circumference and height. Since we can see this is a right angle triangle, we can use trigonometry. So sine 32 would be equal to h over 50. So h is 50 times sine 32. H is 26.5. Now using cos 32, we can find out that circumference over 50, circumference is cos 32 times 50, and circumference is 42.402. So using this, we now know that the formula for circumference is actually 2 pi r. Since this is a circle, the formulas for circle also apply. So this is 2 pi r, and 2 pi r should be equal to 42.402. And now the missing value r is crucial to finding out volume. If you did not know the volume formula for the volume of a cylinder, the the paper provides that formula for you on the second page of the exam. So this is what is important for us. In order to find the volume, we have height but we do not have radius, so we get radius from this formula, and r is equal to 6.75 approximately. So now simply using the formula times 26.5 volume is equals to 3793. Now some of you might have a confusion that the marking scheme states 3790, but note that these type of questions have a range, and range is usually plus minus 3 on this level of questions, because there are a lot of pies, a lot of rounding off done, and so the answer has to be approximate to get full accuracy. You can opt to not solve these till the end of the question, and you can get a very accurate answer. So yeah, writing this in the answer space, we get 3793 or whatever answer you get due to the rounding difference, but note that it should not be more than 3794 or less than 3737. So this is the acceptable range by the examiner. So yeah, this is how you score 6 marks. Moving on. So moving on to the next question. Question 10. Jimara works as a taxi driver. Last week he recorded the following information about the distances he drove. For the 5 days from Monday to Friday, the mean number of kilometers he drove was 104. For the 7 days from Monday to Sunday, the mean number of kilometers he drove was 127. On Saturday, Jimara drove 132 kilometers. Work out the number of kilometers he drove on Sunday. So let's say that Monday till Friday was 5 days and he drove a mean of 104 kilometers. So Monday to Friday he drove 520 kilometers from Monday to Friday. Now we have a new average for 7 days. So 7 days means Monday till Friday plus Saturday, which is 132 kilometers, plus Sunday, which is unknown, and that is the requirement of the question. And these are 7 days, and we know that the average for 7 days is 127. And we have found out that on Monday to Friday, till Monday from Friday, he drove 520 kilometers plus 132 plus Sunday divided by 7 equals to 127. Now solving this, we get 520 plus 132 is 652 plus Sunday equals to 127 times 7 is 889, and for Sunday we get the answer by subtracting 889 minus 652. The answer is 237 kilometers. So on Sunday he drove 237 kilometers, and that is how you score 3 marks on this question. So question 11 tells us to express whatever this is in the form m raised to the power a k raised to the power b divided by c, where a, b and c are integers to be found. Now note that m6 k10 over 25 3 by 2 can also be written like m6 3 by 2 times k10 3 by 2 times 1 over 25 3 by 2. It wouldn't be wrong. You can expand like that. So what is happening is each of this power is getting multiplied with each of these powers. So 6 into 3 by 2 is 6 into 3 by 2 is 3. No, sorry, 6 into 3 by 2 is 9. My bad. So m raised to the power 9 times, now this is 5 times 3 is 15, k raised to the power 15, and this 25 raised to the power 1 by 2 is 5, and 5 cube is 125. So yeah, this is your final answer. Hooray. Let me just double check. Yeah, yep, we are spot on. So we get m raised to the power 9, k raised to the power 15 times 125, and that is your final answer. Question 12 tells us here are 6 graphs, graph A, B, C, D, E, and F. So if you do not already know, this is a graph of an x square. This is a graph of a negative 1 over x. This is a graph of x cube. This is, I guess, 1 over x square. Yeah, so this, notice that this is a reflection of this. So this is a negative x cube graph, and this is a positive 1 over x. You need to learn these graphs, or you can just use your logic and see that if y equals to 1 over x, then every negative x value will give a negative y value, hence the third quadrant is used. So yeah, use your brain, guys. Sorry. So write down the letters of the graph. Y equals to 10 over x squared, as I mentioned. This is D, this x cube. Here we go, a cubic equation. C, y equals to minus 3 by x. Yep, B. So learn your graphs, guys, learn your graphs. Question 13. Firozi invests 80,000 Kenyan shillings. He invests for 3 years at X% interest each year. At the end of 3 years, the total interest he receives is 6151.25. So let me draw a diagram for you. This is year 0, 1, 2, and 3, and the rate he has invested in is X%. So at the start of year 1, meaning at year 0, today he invested 80,000, and at the end of the 3 years his amount is something, after compounding, after X% compounding every year, 1 plus X% effectively. So we need to find out the interest is given. So whatever his amount is including the interest amount of 6151.25. Now in order to get to year 3, we know that 80,000 into 1 plus x 1 plus x% should get us to year 1, and for year 2 and 3 it gets on and on. So yeah, 1, 2, and 3, this gets us to year 3, and so you can write all of this as 80,000 times 1 plus x% into 3, and we know that this is now equals to 80,000 plus whatever the interest amount is, because at the end of 3 years his principal is increased by the amount of interest he receives. So now solving for x, we can see that 1 plus x% raised to the power 3 equals 1 plus 6151.25 divided by 80,000, and let's whole cube this, and so putting it all in your calculator, we get 1 plus x% equals to 1.025. Let's send 1 over there for subtraction. X% is equal to 0.25, 0.025, my bad. So x would be 2.5%, and so that is your final answer. Spot on. So Akari played a computer game 11 times. Here are her scores. 25, 20, 28, so on and so forth. Find the interquartile range of her scores. Now, in order to find the interquartile range, we need to arrange this in ascending orders. So there are two 20s, and do I see a 21? I do not. There is a 22, however, and there is a 23. Yep. And do you see a 24? No. There is a 25, and there are two 26s. There is a 121, 127, my bad. There is 28 and two 29s. So in group data, what we do is, if we would have 11 frequency, we would multiply it with 3 by 4 for Q3, 11 times 1 by 4 for Q1. But let me give you a small hack for ungrouped data. So as you can see that there are 11, and sixth number is such that it divides the sequence perfectly. There are 5 numbers behind it and 5 numbers ahead of it. So this is our median. This is Q2. Q2 divides the whole sequence in half, and Q1 and Q3 are basically those numbers that divide the next 5 equally. So as you can see, 22 has 2 behind it and 2 up front of it, and 28 has 2 behind it and 2 up front of it from their respective segregations. So this is Q1, this is Q3, and so this works really well with uh, odd number of data items. So if there is even number of data items, you can just take the mean of those two center values that you find as median or in interquartile range. So yeah, Q3 minus Q1 is interquartile range. So we have 22 minus 22, 28 minus 22, that is 6. 6 is your interquartile range. So Maki played the same computer game 11 times. Her interquartile range for Maki scores were 9. Who had the more consistent scores, Akari or Maki? Give a reason for your answer. Now, Akari's scores were spread out. Her interquartile range was 6 and Maki's was 9. So 9 is greater than 6. Well, obviously, her scores were more spread out and there was less consistency. So Akari scores were more consistent and less spread out, more consistent and less spread out. So she stayed. Standard deviation is, I guess, a concept too much for you guys. So let's just keep it till here. Akari's scores were more consistent and less spread out, so she had a more consistent score, as the question asks us to reason. So moving on. Question 15 tells us Osvaldo has a biased coin. He spins the coin 3 times. The probability that the coin lands on a head 3 times is 27 by 64. Work out the probability that the coin will land on a tail 3 times. So uh, if he spins the coin 3 times, he gets head 3 out of 3 times, and the probability of that happening is 27 times 64. So the probability of h as an outcome is multiplied by 3 to get 27 by 64, multiplied 3 times with itself to get 27 by 64. So we can rewrite it as h cube equals to 27 by 64, and the probability of head coming on a single spin is 27 by 64 whole cube, which gives us 3 by 4. So this is the probability of head, and so the probability of tails would be 1 minus the probability of head. So probability of tails is actually 1 minus 3 by 4, which gives us 1 by 4. And so the probability of tails coming three times is found out using the same logic. So t cube is 1 by 4 cube, which gives us 1 over 64. So this is the probability of finding the outcomes, the probability of the coin landing on tail three times. Show that 2 under root 3 divided by under root 3 minus 1 can be written in the form a plus under root a, where a is an integer. Show you're working clearly. So mathematicians don't really like under roots in the denominator, so what we do to get rid of them is change their sign. And what I mean by that is you get under root 3 minus 1 times under root 3 plus 1 under root 3 plus 1. Note that you could have also done under root 3 and minus under root 3 or minus under root 3 plus 1. It wouldn't have changed your outcome. So multiplying this with this and this with this would give us 2 times 3, because under root 3 and under root 3 become a 3, and this gives us plus 2 under root 3. And now into the denominator, under root 3 and under root 3 give us 3, under root 3 and into plus 1 is plus under root 3, minus 1 into under root 3 is minus under root 3, minus 1 into plus 1 is minus 1. Now these cancel. This is so the numerator is 6 plus 2 under root 3 over 2. If I take 2 common from the numerator, I get 3 plus under root 3 over 2. 2's and 2's cancel. The final answer is 3 plus under root 3. And this is, I think, the most we could simplify it. Yeah, and the form is satisfied, so we get a plus under root a and 3 plus under root 3, hence shown. Make x the subject of y equals to whole cube root 6 plus 5x divided by x plus 4. So let's just send the cube over here, starting off with y cube equals to 6 plus 5x divided by x plus 4. Y cube times x plus 4 equals to 6 plus 5x. Opening the bracket, we get x cube y plus 4y cube equals to 6 plus 5x. Now let's send this here and take 5x here. We get y cube x minus 5x equals to 6 minus 4y cube. Now we have x on the one side, and let's take x common. We get y cube minus 5 equals to 6 minus 4y cube. X is equals to 6 minus 4y cube over y cube minus 5, and I think that's the maximum you can simplify it to, because there is nothing common. Or you could take 2 common out of the numerator, but that's really not necessary. Y cube minus 5, this is your final answer for 4 marks. Question 18. A, B, C, and D are points on a circle. ABP and DCP are straight lines. AB is 16 centimeters, BP is 14 centimeters, CP is 12 centimeters. Work out the length of DC. This is the length DC that's missing. Now, in order to solve this question, you need a secant theorem. Is, I think, what's it called? What it's called? It's secant theorem. So DC, the product of DC times 12 plus 12 so DC plus 12 times 12 should be equal to AB plus PB times PB. So basically what I'm trying to imply is that this multiplied with this and this multiplied with this should have equal results. The answer should be same. So let's just solve. We have 12 DC plus 144, and we have 30. 16 plus 14 is 30. 30 times 14. 12 DC equals 420 minus 144. DC equals 276 over 12, and DC is 23. This is your final answer. 30 adults booked to stay in a hotel. 30 is the total data size. 30 adults booked to stay in a hotel. 19 adults booked breakfast, and 15 adults booked dinner. 4 adults did not book breakfast or dinner. Some adults booked breakfast and dinner. Maybe chooses 2 of the 30 adults. Work out the probability that these 2 adults each book breakfast and dinner. So let's just draw a Venn diagram, and 4 of them did not book anything, so that's that, and this is breakfast and this is dinner. Now some number of adults took both, and the remaining 19 minus x and 15 minus x only took dinner and breakfast. So if we write it down in an equation, 19 plus x minus x, 19 minus x plus x plus 15 minus x and plus 4 should be equals to 30, and solving for x we get 19 minus x plus 15 minus x plus 4 equals to 30. Minus x plus x cancel, so we have 19 plus 15, 34 minus x, and let's send it here, so it's 26. X is equals to 34 minus 26, which gives us 8. So there are x number of people that 8 number of people that have booked both breakfast and dinner, and so the probability of choosing 2 of them from let's go back. Maybe chooses 2 of the 30 adults, so if she chooses first adult, the probability of her choosing one with that chooses both breakfast and dinner is 8 out of 30. Then for the second adult, it's 7 times 29, because when she picks one adult, then there is one less adult from the pool that has chosen both breakfast and dinner. And so solving this fraction in a calculator, we get 28 by 4, 35. So that is your final answer. Write it in the answer space and you're good to go. A, B, C are points on a circle. MN is tangent to the circle at C. AB equals to CB, which means this is an isosceles triangle. Find the size of the angle ABC. Now there is a property of the circle that these two angles are equal, so this is also 78, and since it is an isosceles triangle, this would subsequently be 78 as well, and the maximum angle in sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So in order to find ABC, we go 180 minus 78 times 2. The answer is 24, and that is your angle 24 ABC. Moving on, we have work out the coordinates of points of intersection of a linear equation y minus 2x equals to 1 and a quadratic equation y square plus xy equals to 7. Show clear algebraic working. Now let's make y subject first. Y equals to 1 plus 2x. Now substituting this in the quadratic equation, we get 1 plus 2x whole square plus x. 1 plus 2x equals to 7. We get 1 plus 4x square plus 4x. This is 4x plus x plus 2x square equals to 7, and we get 6x square plus 5x, and 7 comes here. Minus 7 plus 1 is minus 6 equals to 0. Solving this quadratic with the quadratic formula, You need to show sufficient workings. I am solving this on a calculator. So the coordinates for x are 2 by 3 and x equals to minus 3 by 2. Now for each of these x coordinates you also need to find the y coordinate. So plugging this in this equation, oh my bad, y minus 2, 2 by 3, what's the equation, y minus 2x equals to 1. So solving, 2 times 2 by 3 is 4 by 3, y minus 4 by 3 equals to 1, y equals to 1 plus 4 divided by 3 is 7 by 3. So one set of coordinates is 2 by 3 and 7 by 3. Solving the other, y minus 2 minus 3 by 2 equals to 1, 2 and 2 cancel, we get to y plus 3 equals to 1 and y is equals to minus 2. So the other set of coordinates is minus 3 by 2 and minus 2. Question 22. Here is a cuboid ABCDEFGH. AB equals to 15 cm, BC equals to 4 cm, CF equals to 9 cm. Work out the length of BE. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So BE is this diagonal length which we need to find out. So starting off, my intuition tells me that in order to find this length BE, forming a triangle EBD is very crucial. So in order to find, since this is a cuboid, we know that DE is already 9 centimeters since it is equal to FC. So in order to find BD, we have another triangle. Let's just draw this out. This is DCB and BC is 4 and DC is equals to AB, which is 15. So BD is equals to hypotenuse is 15 square plus 4 square and BD equals to under root 15 square plus 4 square. We get under root 241. I will keep it at under root 241 for accuracy for now. And now we have our final triangle. The point of interest is EDB, and now that we know it's 241 here and 9 here, we can find out EB square equals to under root 241 whole square plus 9 square. Now solving this in a calculator, we get EB equals to under root 322, which is approximately 17.944. 17.944 till 3 significant figures is 17.9. This is your final answer. Moving on. Question tells us here is a cuboid PQRSTUVW. PR is 42 centimeters. So this line PR is 42 centimeters. The size of the angle between PU and the plane PQRS is 30 degrees. So PU and this is 30 degrees. And M is the midpoint of PR. So M is somewhere here. Work out the size of the angle UMR. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Now using the data we have, we know that we have a triangle which is PR. This is 30 degrees and we know this side is 42. UR is missing, so UR could be tan 30. Tan 30 is opposite over adjacent and opposite is UR and this is 42. So UR is 42 tan 30. Now this is approximately 24.25, but for accuracy I will use this value in my final answer. And so now that we know that M is the midpoint and this whole length is 42, if I draw a line here, this is equally divided, so this is 21 and I know this is this is 42 tan 30 or 24.25, and this angle is what I'm interested in. Let's name it X. So solving for X, I would get tan X equals to 42 tan 30 divided by 21. For your clarity, I will label this UR and this is MR. And so solving this for maximum accuracy, the answer is supposed to be correct to three significant figures, which would give us 49.1, and this is your final answer. Moving on. Question 23. Here are the first three terms of an arithmetic sequence: 8p minus 7p minus 3, 4p plus 2. This is first, second, and third terms. The first n terms of the sequence is minus 1914. Work out the value of n. So the formula for the sum is 2a plus n minus 1 times d, and this is equals to minus 1914. So the first term is 8p, so 8p plus d should be equals to 7p minus 3. So d is equals to minus p minus 3, because this goes here and this is minus p minus 3. So 7p minus 3 minus p minus 3 should give us 4p plus 2, because we are adding the difference, common difference in the second term to give us the third term. So we get 6p minus 3 minus 3 is 6, this cancels, this is, and we get 2p minus 8 equals to 0, p is equals to 4, and so we can say that a is equals to 32. Since this is 8p, just for your, let me just write it in another color for your clarification that this is AP, and D is actually minus p minus 3, D is minus 7, and for your clarification I will write the original expression for D that we found out. Now going back to the formula for sum, we can find out that S of n equals to n over 2 times 32 plus n minus 1 minus 7 equals to minus 1914, and let's send this here. So we get n 64 minus 7n plus 7 equals to minus 3828. So we get 64n minus 7n square plus 7n equals to minus 3828, bringing it here to form a quadratic equation. We get 64 plus 7 is 71n, 7n square, negative 7n square plus 71n plus 3828 equals to 0. Using the quadratic formula, you need to show your working. I will be using a calculator. Your examiner demands working, so please take it seriously and solve on the exam question. You can use a calculator to double check your answer. And so n is equals to 29, we get another answer which is 132 by 7, but this is not possible because n is greater than 0. Since it is a physical value, this is a sequence and it is supposed to be a number, a physical value, so it cannot be negative, so we reject it, and n is equals to 29. So this is your final answer. Moving on. Question 24. The surface area of sphere A is 9 times the surface area of sphere B. The difference between the volume of sphere A and the volume of sphere B is 117 pi centimeter square. The radius of the smaller sphere. Find the radius of the smaller sphere. Show your working clearly. So you don't need to be worried about the formulas for the surface area and volume of sphere, as the formula sheet on the second page of your question paper literally gives you the formula for volume of sphere and surface area of sphere. So let's just use this to solve our question. Now let's make some annotations that RA is the radius of the bigger sphere, which is sphere A, and RB is the radius of the smaller sphere, which is sphere B. And looking at the equation for surface area, we get 4 pi RA square is 9 times 4 pi RB square. And then comparing the volumes, we get that the difference between the bigger sphere volume and the smaller sphere volume should be equals to 117 pi centimeter square. So using the equation, we get 4 by 3 pi RA cube minus 4 by 3 pi RB cube should give us 117 pi. So first of all, let's make RA the subject in this equation, so we can solve for RB in the second equation, which is this is first and this is second, and then we can find the sphere of the smaller circle, which is annotated by RB. So is 9 times 4 pi RB squares. 4 and 4 cancel each other out, so this is pi RA squares equals to 9 pi RB squares, and pi's cancel each other out as well, and so RA square should be equal to 3 times RB squares. Note that 9 was, I just skipped a step here, where 9 is basically 1 by 2 is 3, and so 3 square should be equals to 9. This is for your understanding. So now we have RA, which is RA is 3 RB. Now let's plug it in here. In the second equation, we get 4 by 3 pi 3R cube. Now I'm using RB as R since there's only one variable, so there's no need to differentiate between them as RA and RB. And minus 4 by 3 pi R cube equals to 117 pi. Let's take R cube pi common, and we get 4 by 3 times 27 minus 4 by 3 equals to 117 pi. Now let's solve whatever's in the bracket. 4 by 3 times 27 minus 4 by 3 gives us R cube pi 104 over 3 equals to 117 pi. Pi's cancel each other out, so R is equals to 117 divided by 104 by 3. So R cube equals to 27 by 8, and if we send the cube root over there, we get R is equals to 3 by 2, and that is your final answer. Notice that you just had to solve them simultaneously in order to get to your answer. The examiner just wanted to know how comfortable you are in handling algebraic equations. 85. The straight line with the equation y minus 2x equals to 7 is the perpendicular bisector of the line AB, where A is the point with coordinates j7 and B is the point with coordinates 6k. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of the line AB. So let's just say that this is a line and here is somewhere point A, which is j7, and here is somewhere point B, which is 6k, and this is the midpoint M, and through M a line passes which is y equals to 2x plus 7. I just sent this here. Let's call it line L. So we know that whatever the coordinates of midpoint are are also on line L, and using that we can solve for. So let's just say the midpoint is j plus 6 2 over 2 and comma 7 plus k over 2. So this is your x coordinate and y coordinate for M, aka midpoint. And if the gradient of line L is plus 2, then the gradient of line AB is, because they are perpendicular bisector, is the negative reciprocal. It is minus 1 by 2. And using the equation for gradient with the formula, we get that y2 minus y1 is something like 7 minus k over x2 minus x1, which is j minus 6. We get that minus j plus 6 equals to 14 minus 2k. So we have 2k minus j equals to 8, and using the midpoints we can substitute these midpoints into the equation of line L. So j sorry we have y coordinates first, which is 7 plus k over 2 minus 2 times j plus 6 over 2 equals to 7. So let me just confirm. This is our x coordinate, this is our y coordinate, and this is the equation. I'm just writing it down for your memory. or y minus 2x equals to 7. So this is given in the question. Nothing to deduce here, just solving. 2 and 2 cancel. We get 7 plus k over 2 minus 6 minus j minus 6 equals to 7, since minus multiplies with the whole bracket. So we get 7 plus k minus 2j minus 12, and since we are here, and so I just send it here, skipping a step, we get 14. So we have minus 2j plus k equals to 14 plus 12, which is 26, minus 7 is 19. So we have two equations in the form of k and j which we can solve, and that is minus j plus 2k equals to 8. And so let's solve them simultaneously over here. So j is equals to 2k minus 8, and then plugging j in, minus 2 times 2k minus 8 plus k equals to 19. We get minus 4k minus plus 16 plus k equals to 19. We get minus 3k, so 3k equals to 16 minus 19 is minus 3, so k is minus 1, and j, by plugging the value of k, we get, in this equation we get j is equals to 2k minus 8, and since minus 2 minus 8, j is equals to minus 10. Now simply putting it in our midpoints, let's carry it on to the next page. K is minus 1, j is minus 10 if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So our original was, and 7 plus k over 2. So now minus 10 plus 6 over 2, comma, minus 1 plus 7 over 2. This is minus 4 over 2, which is minus 2, and this is 6 over 2, which is 3. So these are your coordinates. So just to give you an oversight, the question gave you clues. This is a clue, these coordinates are a clue, and the fact that the question mentioned perpendicular bisector is a clue that the gradient is useful, and the gradient is given in the equation of the line. And the question asks us about midpoints, and we have 2 points. These points are used here. So the question is meant to be solved like a mystery case. Like you have to be Sherlock to be able to get here. So you pick up clues from the question which I just mentioned, and then you get to your goal very seamlessly, very smoothly, if you do not make any mistakes. So just keep that in mind, that every question has clues. If you're unable to solve it, you just need to read the question again carefully. Question 26. Here is a sketch of the curve with the equation y equals to a cos b x degrees plus c, where x is greater than minus 90 and less than 450. So this needs you to have a grasp of the trigonometric curves. So a normal cos curve completes one cycle in 360 degrees, has a maximum point of +1 and a minimum point of -1, and anything that we see as an anomaly in our question is a clue for what could be the missing pieces to the puzzle over here. So let's see. The maximum point is 3 and the minimum point is -1, so there's clearly something wrong. And in 360 degrees, the 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 curve is completing not 1, 2, but 3 cycles. So the curve is getting squeezed, since if it were stretched, then there would be more than less than 1 cycles being completed. So this is a squeeze, and when this is a squeeze, the value of x is usually greater than 1. It's a whole number, and since instead of 1 cycle being completed, we see that there are 3 cycles being completed, so value of b is 3, since b is getting multiplied with x, and so every x value is getting squeezed inside this cos curve. And let's see, we can see that if we drew a line at 1 shows that there is an equal distance between these two lines here. So the curve has been moved up 1 unit, and instead of it going uh, reaching up to 1 and coming down to 1, it is now doubling in its maximum point and minimum point. So we can see that every y value is now multiplied with 2, and the graph has moved 1 unit up as a whole. So when the graph is moved 1 unit up as a whole, it is usually when the whole equation is added to. So this gives us +1, and since every value is now reaching up 2 times its norm, so this gives us 2. So writing down the value for a and c, we get a is equals to 2 and c is equals to 1. I hope you understand the question I tried to explain, and if you like the video, Don't forget to subscribe and like and leave your thoughts and comment. I read the comments regularly and I will try to work on your constructive criticism and feedbacks. And if I made a mistake, please let me know and correct me. Thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure.